And I am live. Good morning, and thank you so kindly for tuning in to Brown Eyes on this beautiful, amazing, wonderful day. Because remember, so as a man thinketh in his heart, then so is he. We are to think upon things that bring us a good report. We are to think things that are not as though they were already. Well, y'all, I just decided to come outside and do this quick little live because it is such a beautiful, awesome day, and especially to be outside in nature. I mean, it is so beautiful. You can hear nature singing its tune of life and just promoting you to get out of bed and to just take charge of things and just get some things done. That's what nature does to me. It encourages me to um, conquer the impossible, if you will. But if you see in the headlines, the name of this video or this short little video is going to be called Using Your Discernment When You're Choosing a Mate or a Life Partner, or really any type of relationship, you have to use your discernment. Um, we would like to think that people averagely have good intentions towards us, but you have to understand the person, there is an energy. And like I always say, this world is just full of emotionally damaged people. And a lot of people don't get the help that they need. So what they do is they just deal with it. They put on a false mask and they uh, act like everything is okay, and they just carry it over into the next relationship, and the cycle continues and continues. So they're adding insult to injury to this new person's life because they haven't addressed their own issues, and probably the new person that they're interacting with has their own emotional issues as well. But um, you really have to use your discernment. But I think even we outside. We're in nature, so there's a lot of things going on. You can't be biased because we're in the land. Oh, that's a beautiful butterfly. Oh, that is so pretty. That is absolutely beautiful. I wish I could show you. You probably can't see that. Can you see that butterfly up there? Can't see that, can you? No, you can't see that. So, but even if you use your discernment, what I'm what I am learning from my experience is that even if you use your discernment, there's a lesson to be learned in any type of situation, because this is what this human experience offers you. This is what it's about, learning. It's about you being able to compare the two and to know that there is a difference between the two. The two meaning your spiritual man, your soul, and this vessel that houses your soul, this flesh. Um, and the experience that you have to go through within this flesh while you're dealing with your spiritual man. But even dealing with your and using your discernment, I also think that the universe will set up scenarios for you to, in some cases, fail, because it's easy to learn something in an easy situation when there's no challenges and everything goes so smooth, and you know everything is picture perfect. There's not a lesson in that, but it's the challenging situations that you don't have the answers to, that you can't find the support system, and you can't make sense out of it, and you're taking a leap of faith. You're walking into a situation blindly. Those are the situations that are the most challenging, that will render the most wisdom and the most effect, um, the most lessons learned, if you will, because how are you going to learn anything going having not been through anything? You know what I'm saying? So you have to go through the hard things in life, and ooh, in order to learn what it's all about. But even in using your discernment, You're gonna always run into wolf in sheep clothing because that's what it's about. Everybody's not on the same energy. Everybody's not on the same frequency. Everybody don't have the same motives. And even if everyone doesn't have the same motives, it also doesn't mean that everyone is out to get you. So that's one thing that I've had to learn about myself. Just because you've had bad relationships or bad experiences, bad friendships or bad whatever in the past, does not mean you have the right to compare it or to bring that negative energy into something new because it will affect it. That's called self sabotage. And I had to learn that. It's a hard pill to swallow, but I had to learn that. You hear me? So it's easy and it would be a repeated cycle to constantly carry your baggage over. You want something new. You want something meaningful. You want something for the long haul, the longevity of a relationship. But your past hurt that you haven't healed from and that you haven't uh, acknowledged, you haven't pulled the covers off of in order for you to see what it really is. And you take that over into something new, then that means that you're going to constantly be comparing something new with something old. And they may be two different things, but it's because of your mind frame, because of your hurt, because of your past negative experiences will cause you to miss out on the good thing. Now, I know that because I've had good relationships and I've also had horrible relationships, but it's what I'm learning as I get older is that nothing was personal. It had to happen in order for me to grow, in order for me to know what I truly need for myself and what I do not need in my life. And, we do have to use discernment because even in regular friendships, because some people only want to suck up your energy. Some people just want to see where you at. Some people really don't have your best interest at heart. And it's easy to put on a false face and smile in your face and tell you the things they think you want to hear just to get some type of self gratification or to get some type of self gain. But it always comes out. The truth always comes out. The truth always comes out. It may not come out immediately, but it always comes out. But I guess that's when your discernment comes into play. Is you discerning, because there's always going to be a red flag, and as a Scorpio, I think a lot of things that kind of plays against us to a degree is that we could see negative things. We could see the red flags in relationships or through people, but being that we're so intuitive and we're so spiritual, we're so full of emotions because we are water signs. We don't just stop at what we see right then and there. The Scorpio has the ability to see past what we see. We can see a good out of any situation. You hear me? And I think a lot of times Scorpios fall in love with the potential instead of falling in love with the reality of a situation. And I think that plays against us, and it could play against everyone, but especially a Scorpio because we are so emotional, we're so spiritually, and we connect from the heart. You know, that's why it's not for this Scorpio. It's not so easy to just jump into bed with a new person or new guy. You have to connect spiritually, emotionally with that person because that's who you are. And most people guard their emotions, so they're not going to readily just hand you their heart on a platter now because I don't care how good a life people pretend that they are having. And I'm not saying that people are not living their best life. I'm not saying people don't have good points in their life, but it has to be balanced. You have to be able to take the good with the bad. That's what life is. It's that yin and that yang. It's what balances you. It's the thing that gives you the comparison so that you can know what's real and what's fake out here. You see how the sun goes up and down. It's so amazing and it feels so good out here. And you see the trees, you hear the crickets in the background, you hear nature, you hear the nature singing, and it's a spiritual thing for me because you're in nature. You're in nature. And there's so much life around you. But if you're not using your discernment in any situation, every situation, then you're going to go through unnecessary changes. You're going to go through changes nevertheless, but sometimes we um, go through unnecessary changes because we're not handling things like we should. But um, I don't think anyone should just lay their heart out on a platter and give it to you. No, that should be earned. You have to put in that time. No one wants to court you anymore. You know how they used to do back in the day? They used to do the innocent courtship. They would just take you to get you a soda pop or get you a cup of coffee or a long walk or a nice long drive or something like that, something innocent, something that can, something that will emotionally engage you because we know sex is not going to keep you with anyone. Sex is not the relationship. Sex is only a part of the relationship. It is really a bonus. Because if you have not already established some type of real friendship where you can really get to know this person for who they are, for who they are, as is, the good, the bad, and the ugly, then the sex is when the sex wears out and when you get tired of the sex, then you're left with nothing. So yeah, you use your discernment in finding a mate, in finding a life partner, and all those things like that. But even in using your discernment, will you be on track? Will you get it right? Because I have a lot of hit and misses, and I'm not ashamed to say that I am 47. So I've had to really experience a lot of uh, emotionally damaging relationships in order to understand what it's really all about. And if you haven't been taught anything, you cannot apply it to do it any better. The only way you get your learning would be through trial and error. That means that you're constantly mess up, 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 and mess up until you realize, well, goddamn, that must not be how you do it. But what I'm also learning is to not be so hard on myself, to not be so hard on other people because they didn't fit my image or what I envisioned it to be. Because maybe that person wasn't for me. Maybe I wasn't for that person. I think the hardest thing, which is very beneficiary, but the hardest thing for us as people to do is to come into a situation in the beginning and you put in enough time to know that for the long haul, for the long term, this relationship is not really your match or your equal. Yet, for your own selfish gain, you continue to pursue this relationship anyway, just to get what you want out of it, and you leave the other person empty. I'm guilty of it. I've done that before. So I've really had to go within and look at myself and look at the things that I have done in my past and the way that I have handled things immaturely. And I can't get upset when it's been done to me because I didn't do it right. I can't say it wasn't justified. I can't say it was justified. I can only say that what goes around comes around. Karma is a bitch. So now I'm more mindful. I'm more mindful when I engage with people to be more open minded, be more aware, be more conscious of the words that I speak, be more conscious of my actions that I take, and don't be so quick to judge people because they're not me, because they don't think like I think, because they don't handle things the way that I would handle them. And, because it's easy to take things that don't turn out right or turn out the way you would expect them to or the way you would hope they would. It's easy to take those things and become bitter and become resentful. But, and also, it would also cause you to put up a guard, because I have a guard. And my guard keep, keeps the negativity away. But I don't want it to be to a point where I'm missing out. So even in your discernment, you can still miss out. Even in your discernment, you can you can see what they say, you can see a glass as being like half empty or half full. And I think that is done by design from the creators, from the universe, because if we go into every situation knowing the outcome of everything, then most likely we wouldn't take that chance and we wouldn't handle it uh, the same way. I mean, it's easy to be bold and daring when you have all of the information, when you know how it's going to end, when you know what's going on that side, and when you know all the angles and the twists and the turns and all those things like that. I mean, that's a no-brainer. Who wouldn't take a chance, you know? But it's those times when you don't know, but you still desire it nevertheless. It's like the universe is game tight. You hear me? Because it's like you want to take a chance. You're prompted to take a chance. You're compelled to take a chance. You have something pushing you to take a chance, but you don't know and you're afraid. So you're not gonna always live in fear where you don't take a chance. It's just that the chances you take will be small and minimum, and to the point where it may cause you to miss out on some things. So using your discernment when you're finding and when you're in search of a mate, when you're in search of a life partner, when you're in search of those things like that, it makes me reflect. It makes me reflect on the many pursuers that I may have and that does not meet my expectations, yet they're still worth loving. You know, you know what I'm saying? It's like for every person you desire that does not give that same energy back to you, there's someone that's desiring you that you don't desire that's probably a perfect match for you. You know, it's as if the universe is saying, you people have no idea what's going on down here. So I'm just going to set up these scenarios. I'm going to put this in your way. I'm going to put this person there and I'm going to set the scene. And I'm going to put all these options out here and I'm just going to let you have that. And I'm going to sit back and see what you do with them. And then you realize, why I have too many options. I can't even make a sound decision because I have too many options, or the options that I have are not even sound options. They're not worth anything. His son is right in the face. I can't. Okay. Okay. This is a good. Let me see. I'm trying to get the sun out of my face, y'all. Bear with me. Okay. Okay. So let's see. Okay. So let me see. I've been on here 18 minutes. I guess I've talked for 20 minutes. 20 minutes on my live. I guess ultimately, at the end of the day, it's an individual thing. Like I always say the same things because it's okay to be repetitious in positive thinking. It's okay to be repetitious in positive talking and even in positive action. But the repetitions in vain living is the thing that destroys you. So I guess we should really, I don't know, I'm trying to figure it out because when you use your discernment, you're not always on point. Nothing is 100% here. We're living in an illusion. We're living in a big ass fake bubble. You hear me? And we have the illusion that everything is okay. We have the illusion that we have the power to change the world when everything is behind the scene and everything was already written out and laid out how it's going to be, what is to be, the exact time and order and everything. And we think that we're just controlling things and moving things and stuff like that. But I do feel that we do have power individually. We have power individually upon ourselves because that's the only one we can make the change in is self. And I think that if we can just stay in a positive mental state, then first of all, you're going to attract like minded people. It's your energy. If you're in a hyped up, happy, joyful, expect, expectation energy, then that's the energy you will attract. But if you're always down in the dumps, you're always seeing things negatively, and you're always self sabotaging, and if you're always feeling defeated, then that's the energy, and those are the people and the things that you will attract. So although we may not can control things collectively, individually, we do have the power. So individually, you can make the right discernment, um, to get that right mate in your life, and to make the best choices that's going to serve you well. Or you're going to always be going around in circles trying to figure out what is best for me. What is best for me? Do you know what's best for you? Do you? I'm not talking about what your body telling you. I'm not talking about when you get horny, when you get hungry. What is best for you emotionally and spiritually? That is the true foundation. That is the foundation that lasts. That is the thing that carries you over. That is the thing that promotes you to be a better you, so that you can be a better person for the next person you encounter, you know? But having said that, I thank you so kindly for tuning in to my channel today, Brown Eyes, on this beautiful, amazing, wonderful day. And remember, so as a man thinketh in his heart, then so is he. We are to think upon things that bring us a good report. We are to speak things that are not as though they were already. Thank you so kindly for tuning in to Brown Eyes, and I will talk to you another time. Bye.